It is 11 days till the man burns, and today we're talking about the 10 principles of burning man. If you have not checked out the 10 principles yet, then you should probably go and check them out. And I would also suggest checking out Halcyon's video on the 10 principles, because he does a really good job of kind of expressing how they work in action. I do think with the 10 principles, they are kind of open to interpretation. Like when you first read the 10 principles, there will probably be one or two that you're just I don't really get it. I don't really understand. But that's okay. If you have a couple that you're just I'm not really sure exactly what this means or exactly how this works, then, don't worry, you'll figure it out as you go along. Radical inclusion is one of my favorite principles. It's the idea that everybody gets to be included. There's no specific thing you need to do or outfit you need to wear or person that you need to be. Everybody is welcome, everybody gets included. So even though radical inclusion is including everybody, if you are doing something that is just annoying everybody around you, then they're probably not going to want to include you. If there are things going on that are targeted towards a specific group of people, maybe there is a workshop and it is targeted at women and you are a guy, then you're probably not going to be included in that. I think gifting is one of the principles that gets misunderstood most frequently. Some people confuse it with bartering or trading, where they think that they have to bring gifts to trade with other people, and that's not the case. A gift is a gift. If someone gives you a gift, you are not expected to give a gift in return. If you get a drink from a theme camp, you are not expected to trade for that and give them something in return. If you have been enjoying that theme camp, then maybe you will want to gift them something to kind of show that appreciation, but you're not obligated to do that. There's also kind of this idea that a gift needs to be a physical thing, but in many cases it doesn't. It could be misting someone with a spray bottle. When you think of some things, the term gift is used, she has a gift, he was a gifted violin player. Because, playing that violin for people, it is a gift for them. If you do find the concept of gifting a bit confusing, I have done a video that really kind of goes deep into gifting and, how it works, what it's all about. Also, a lot of the stuff at Burning Man is a gift. The theme camps, the art cars, all of that stuff is gifts to the community. People really pour their time and effort and love and resources into creating those things to bring out there. They are their gift to the community. Next up, radical self-reliance. This one might sound quite obvious, but I do think there's another aspect to it. Radical self-reliance is that idea that you are reliant on yourself. If no one else is out there to give you a hand, that you would have all of the things that you need to survive while you're out there. But I also think it's a mental thing. Being mentally prepared for Burning Man. If you have, issues, if you're going through a hard time, if you maybe have, mental health problems or something like that, then kind of taking that time before you go to consider whether you are able to be self-reliant in that sense. That's not to say that if you are having a hard time, then people are not going to help you, they are going to help you. But if you are in a place where you are having a hard time mentally or emotionally, then, going to Burning Man may not be the kind of best idea. You might find that, when you get out there, you're having to rely quite heavily on your campmates or your friends or people in the community to, give you that support that you need. Radical self-expression is another one of my favorites. I love to see people just feeling free to express themselves. I think a lot of people spend, a huge amount of time in their lives trying to fit in, trying to be socially acceptable, trying to conform and, listening to other people's opinions of them and trying to fit into, whatever the people around you are kind of trying to get you to be. And going somewhere where you can just kind of throw all that off and, be yourself and be this is me, this is how I love to express myself, these are the clothes I love to wear, these are the things I love to do. It's a very freeing, magical experience. Like with radical inclusion, radical self-expression is not an excuse to be a jerk. Your form of radical self-expression should not be impacting the people around you negatively. To me, communal effort is very much, what it sounds like. It's doing things that don't just serve your own needs. They serve the needs of a wider group of people. Maybe that's your campmates, maybe it's, set up, tear down, cooking a meal, coffee. Instead of just making coffee for yourself, you're making coffee for the rest of your camp. Helping other people out if they need it. Seeing something that needs doing and doing it. With civic responsibility, I see it as, that responsibility to kind of be respecting the things around you. So again, leaving portaloos clean, doing moop sweeps, not vandalizing art, not leaving moop in, an art car or someone's theme camp. not peeing on the ground or, throwing grey water on the ground. Kind of ensuring that you are not making the places you go worse because of you being there. Leave no trace is one that probably everyone should be familiar with. I think this is the one that gets the most attention. Leaving no trace is the idea that, once everyone has packed up and left, that there is no trace. There is nothing left behind. The environment is not being impacted. The Black Rock Desert is an amazing place. And if everyone was just mooping and, leaving anything they decided they didn't want to take with them and throwing their grey water on the ground and burning stuff on the ground, leaving burn scars, then it's going to get ruined pretty fast. And that would be a huge shame. Leaving no trace is so important. Anything that was not there before you arrived should not be there when you leave. You should be taking everything with you. Every year, Burning Man releases a moop map, so you can see kind of the worst offenders. You can see the areas in the city where people just, abandoned their camps. They didn't bother moop sweeping before they left. They just kind of left a load of stuff behind for other people to deal with. People actually volunteer to clean up after Burning Man to make sure that, no trace is left. And if everybody takes responsibility for their own stuff, if you are making sure that you are not leaving moop, you're doing moop sweeps, you're making sure you are not leaving a trace, then, it'll be so much easier for those volunteers. Participation is exactly what it sounds like. It is about participating. And that can apply to so many things. It could be participating in setup and tear down and moop sweeping. It could be participating in a workshop or an event or, something you see that is going on. It is about taking part in things. Participation is highly encouraged at Burning Man. It's an amazing way to connect with people, to kind of remember how much fun it is to just participate in things. Do not kind of have these hang-ups where we feel like we can't get involved in something. It's encouraged that you do get involved with the things that are going on around you, that you do participate in things. Immediacy is another one of my favorites. I know I probably have a few too many favorites. And I think it's the one that is like the toughest to commit to. I think many people kind of live in a bit of a scheduled life where you need to be certain places at certain times. And, if you see something going on around you, you kind of are blind to it because you're like, no, I need to be in this place at this time. Obviously that makes sense. If you're going to work or something or meeting a friend, like, you need to be in that place at that time. Immediacy kind of helps break you out of that habit. Like, if you think back to being a kid or you have kids or have, been around kids, then, they're very, immediate beings. They want what they want and they want it right now. They see something and they want to do that thing and they want to do it right now. And giving yourself that freedom to just, see something and think, what, that looks like fun. I'm going to go and do that thing right now. It's an amazing thing. Decommodification is kind of tied to this idea of a gifting culture. So it's like being in an environment where it's free of advertising or promotion or marketing. People aren't trying to sell you things. You're being bombarded constantly with advertising for things. So going with that, it is encouraged, to not wear clothes that have huge logos all over them. You probably have a lot of things that have small logos on them, like sunglasses or your boots or something. Chances are they've got a logo on them. And, that's the way it is. But, kind of t-shirts that just have huge logos all over them advertising a brand, they're a bit frowned upon. Likewise, if you come in an RV or something, or you're bringing a truck along and it's got, huge advertising all over it, then, it's encouraged that you cover that up. The only things that you can buy at Burning Man are ice and coffee. It's not like a transactional based community. Decommodification is part of that. So I hope this was helpful, guys. Like I say, I would love to hear your interpretations of the principles in the comments. And, if you see me at Burning Man this year, feel free to come and say hi to me. Bye, guys.